Am I the a-hole for wanting to reveal my father's affair even after he passed away? I, 17F, lost my dad 2 weeks ago in a car crash. We didn't have the best relationship. He had this Prince Charming complex that really just covered up his old school sexism. I know I'm being harsh. He was a good dad in a lot of ways, just not a great husband. He was the kind of guy who'd say, men protect women, but also, don't make me mad. You get the idea. Anyway, I have 3 sisters, Meg, 19F, Beth, 12F, and Amy, 19F. Amy isn't biologically related to us, but she's been around for as long as I can remember. I don't know everything about her home life, but from what my mom has said, our house was always her safe place. Meg and Amy are super close, and Meg made sure Amy was part of the family. She really was. Like, Amy once brought me pads to school when no one else was answering their phones. She spent holidays with us, my mom takes her to the dentist, my dad paid for her prom. She was one of us, was. Even after Meg left for college, Amy still visited. Not as often, but she still came by at least once a week. When our dad died, Amy stayed almost a whole week with us, helping my mom and Meg, who were closest to him. Meg and I handled most of the funeral stuff, and it was heavy and exhausting, but Amy made it a little easier. Then a few days ago, she stopped coming around. I didn't think much of it, people have their lives. But she started calling me, asking if Meg was okay, begging me to get her to respond to her texts. She said she was really worried and said some things I won't repeat here. When I asked Meg about it, she told me to ignore her. Which was weird, Meg doesn't ghost people. I pushed a little, and Meg just said to drop it. So I did, but then last night Amy showed up. She brought some of Meg's friends, and they came with pizza and M&Ms, trying to cheer her up. But as soon as Meg saw Amy, she burst into tears and locked herself in her room. I didn't have it in me to kick the others out, so I told them I'd go check on Meg. When I got to her room, she hugged me and just broke down, sobbing, something she never does. Then she told me everything. Apparently, a few days ago, Amy confessed that she and my dad had been involved. Like, romantically, it had been going on for months. She was 18 when it started, and now she's feeling guilty but also devastated because she misses him. Can you believe that? My dad's affair partner sobbing about how much she misses him to his daughter? Whatever shame I had vanished. I absolutely lost it on Amy. I yelled, called her names, none I can say here, exposed her in front of everyone, and made them all leave. Now Meg doesn't want to tell our mom. She says she feels sorry for Amy and thinks maybe it can be fixed. But I want to tell her. I feel like our mom deserves to know who she let into our home. So, AITA for wanting to tell my mom the truth?
Am I the a-hole for missing my daughter's birth even though my girlfriend wasn't due? I, 20, am active duty Navy, stationed with a Marine unit. My girlfriend, 19F, just gave birth to our daughter about 2 months early. She was only 31 weeks pregnant. The baby is in the NICU but stable, thank God. I'm currently out in the field on a required training exercise. It's one of those longer ones, 14 days total, and I'm about a week away from finishing. I'm the only corpsman out here, so I'm the only medical support for the squad. I had already put in leave for the actual due date in July, and it was approved. But the baby came early, and I got a Red Cross message a few days ago saying she was in labor. I went straight to my chain of command and asked if I could go home early, but they told me I needed to finish the training. There's no backup corpsman here, and we're still running live scenarios every day. If I leave, they lose all medical coverage until someone else can be brought in, which isn't easy in the middle of nowhere. They were understanding, they didn't yell or anything, but they told me I had to stay until the end. They said once we finish up next week, I'll be sent home immediately. I talked to my girlfriend over the phone and she was crying and upset. She said she felt abandoned and that I wasn't there when it mattered. I tried to explain the situation, but she wasn't hearing it. Her dad has been texting me too, saying I'm a boy playing dress-up and that a real man would have dropped everything and been there for his family. I obviously wanted to be there, but if I went UA or forced my way out, I'd be risking NJP and losing my leave and potentially hurting my career when I've got a newborn to support now. I'm doing everything I can, and I'll be home in a week, but right now everyone's acting like I don't care. I know how it looks, but I swear that's not what it is. AITA?
AITA for refusing to apologize for exposing my mom's affair. I, 17F, recently found out my mom was cheating. Since April last year, I've already had a lot of doubts because of her suspicious behavior. At first, I kept quiet because I wasn't sure if my guts were telling me the truth, and I didn't want to tell anyone else of my suspicions. I gathered as much evidence as I could, ranging from places my mom allegedly went to, in which she would tell my father different reasons, e.g., work, team buildings, would go days without going home and not pick up her phone. She would then go home before dawn. Facebook accounts of the guy I had suspicions on, emails, etc. This is where I found out that she goes to another city almost 3 hours away just to see this man and hit it with him. To spare you all the details, I found a small paper containing the address of the hotel and connected it to the pictures she posted, as well as an email that was sent to her work office about her pregnancy. I was sure this was not my dad's child. Months of gathering later, I found the opportunity to tell my father about it. This had confirmed his suspicions as well. This caused a huge fight at home, and since then, things have gotten worse for everyone involved. My mother would buy him branded clothes and shoes, not even hesitating to loan hundreds and thousands for the man. She apparently inquired for a new motorcycle, all while we had to live off of cheap, thrifted clothing that costed not even half the price of the shoes she bought for him. My father doesn't want to end things with her because he wants to keep our family intact. He suffered the same fate and doesn't want us to experience what he did. Most of all, divorce isn't legal in our country yet. This all went down almost 3 months ago. Now my mom demands that I apologize for talking back at her and getting involved in their issues. I didn't want to, but my dad begged me to do it just to de-escalate things. I gave her a half-assed apology, sees who in their right mind would apologize for something that wasn't their fault anyways. My mom mocked me and acted like I had no right to be upset or tired of the situation. Mind you, I've been carrying the burden on my own ever since I found out about her shit last year, and I had to focus on my academics. Now I have a new responsibility because of my newborn half-sister. So, AITA for exposing the truth and refusing to fully accept blame?
Am I the a-hole for telling my son not to invite my wife to his graduation? I, 36 Mim, have a son, a 17 Min, that is graduating high school this year. His mom and I split up when he was young, and I got married to my now wife, 37F, a few years ago. His mom doesn't live super closed, so my son mostly stays with me, but he'll call her a few times a week and go over to her house on long weekends. My son wanted to invite me, my wife, his mom, and his brother, 19 Meme, to his graduation, but each student only gets up to 3 tickets. My son tried asking if he could get one more, but they told him that since the school auditorium wasn't very big, they wouldn't have enough seating if they gave students extra tickets. They did tell him that the school usually does a raffle for extra tickets if they have any open spots, but the tickets aren't guaranteed. My son talked to me about it and said he didn't know what to do because he wanted both his mom and my wife to be there. He said that he could just invite my wife, if it was easier, and celebrate with his mom separately. I know that my son is still close with his mom, even though he doesn't see her as often anymore. So I told him that unless there was a specific reason he didn't want her there, he should probably invite his mom first and put his name in for the raffle to try and get one for my wife. He seemed happy with this idea and called his mom to tell her. Earlier today, my wife was asking my son about the graduation, and he told her that he didn't have enough tickets for everyone, but was trying to get an extra one for her. She asked who he had given the tickets to, and he said me, his brother, and his mom. She seemed a bit surprised, but didn't say anything else. Later, she said if I could ask my son to give the ticket to her instead of his mom, and I told her no because it was his choice, and he had already told his mom. She said she didn't understand why he would give it to his mom when he doesn't even see her that often, and that he should have just given it to her. I told her that I told him to invite his mom, and even if he doesn't see her as often, it doesn't mean that his mom doesn't matter to him. She got upset and asked why I would tell him that, and wouldn't I rather spend the day with her instead of my ex. I said didn't matter what I thought because my son is really close with his mom, and just because I've had issues with her doesn't mean that he does too. Now my wife is mad at me and accused me of just wanting to see my ex. I do want my wife to come to the graduation, but I think that it's more important that my son has his mom there. AITA Edit. I just wanted to add a bit more information because a lot of people had been asking. Me and my wife have been married for almost 3 years, and she met my kids about a year or 2 before. My oldest son does want to come to the graduation, and I know that my younger son does want his brother to be there, so I'm not going to ask him to give up the ticket. Also, I know I should have talked to my wife about it before, but I wanted to wait until my son was 100% sure who he wanted to come. He called his mom the day before all this happened and let me know in the morning, so I was planning to talk to her that night. I know I should have told her before, and that is my fault. Also, my son is going to ask some of his friends if they have extra tickets. My wife won't be home today, but I'm going to talk to her later tonight.